We'll start out with this idea of consolation. We talked about it last week, how Job had these terrible things happen. First, he had his children die. Most of his wealth was taken away, right? And then his health was taken away. And so the last we saw him, he's sitting in the ashes of the destruction of his houses and everything. And he's covered with boils from head to toe to the bottom of his feet. Not just the top, the bottom of his feet, covered with boils that were itching. And he's scratching himself with a broken clay pot. And 3 of his friends show up. And, if you read it there in verse 11 of chapter 3 in Job, right? Verse 11, chapter 3. What does it say they were coming to do? Ultimately, they were coming to comfort and console him, right? And we talked about how the church has gotten lulled into this idea that the way somebody should be consoled is that way. Right? That most of the time when we think about comforting someone, we are literally thinking, I'm going to go and just pat them on the back, rub them a little bit, say, hey, it's going to be okay. Right? That's comfort. You agree? The church has accepted that and eaten that like it's the word of God. And so our mentality now, we go to comfort somebody, is not to pray for them and them get an answer, which would mean they get their stuff back, their children are raised from the dead, and they're healed, right? Which would be, by the way, one of God's ideas of consolation. But instead, the highest thing, the greatest thing that our perspective could possibly understand is, we're just going to go sit there with them and just kind of love on them with our words and just hopefully do what? Comfort them. And so the church, filled with God himself, thinks the greatest comfort they can offer. And the largest their perspective is that they need to just go. And there's a praise song now. And the girl's singing. And she said, and I'm talking about one of the probably top 50 praise songs in America. And she says, I'm going to pray for you because that's all that I can do. And if I was a priest, I'd tear my robe when I hear that. I'll just pray for you because that's all that I can do. What is that? Where does that come? It comes from a heart that says, prayer is nothing, and it's the last of things, but it's all I can do for you. Guys, when the church really believes and sings out loud that the greatest consolation that we have to offer anybody is our hand, the skin on our hand, patting them on the back, and the best words that we can think of our own natural self, and just sitting there with them while they're still in pain, still in loss, still grieving. We don't know God. Let's not fool ourselves. We don't know God. We don't know the superabundance of God. We are proving out by the things that we praise, by the things that we say, by the evidence in our lives. We're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling me. And I'm not fooling you. But we all think somehow we're fooling each other, I guess. Mostly people think they're fooling God. And they think they're fooling the devil. Well, I represent God. God's just like, God looks at us and he knows the truth, right?